So, are you looking for a logo for your 1,000th business in the most entrepreneurial country in the world? I know a website that can create you a logo and brand materials in under 10 minutes. Let's get into it. Okay, so in this video, I'm going to show you 6-7 AI tools that are absolutely essential for you to start using right now if you aren't. Now, I know that the AI revolution has either taken your life by storm or you're kind of just watching from a distance with a 10-foot pole, kind of just like poking it every now and then. Well, wherever you fall on that spectrum, there's no reason why you shouldn't take advantage of the easy ones before you get bogged down into plugins and GPT-4 and subscriptions that cost $20 a month. There's some free stuff that will really change your life, and you should start using them right now. So I'm going to show you 6 of them, starting right now. The first one I want to talk about is called ChatGPT, and it's the most common and the most popular one that everyone knows right now. And so ChatGPT is essentially a chatbot that you can ask questions and you can ask it to perform certain text-related tasks, things like summarizing articles, things like generating texts, generating a business proposal, generating a cover letter, and things like that. You can actually copy your resume and paste it into ChatGPT and ask it what kind of jobs you should apply for, and you'll be surprised by the answer. You should totally try that right now. Okay, so ChatGPT can be found at chat.openai.com. You will need to sign up to have your own account to allow you to use it efficiently. Chat.openai.com. I'll also leave links to all these sites in the description so you can access them. But okay, so at that point, so you can copy and paste your resume into ChatGPT and it will tell you what kind of jobs you should apply for. You can use it to write you a cover letter by simply copying the job description from the site and pasting it into ChatGPT and asking it to write you a cover letter. And all you have to do is just sort of edit the cover letter to add your number of years of experience and things like that. Add salary expectations if the job application asks you to include that kind of stuff. So it's basically almost unnecessary for you to write documents like this from scratch anymore because you have AI that can help you. So things like writing a business proposal, you can also tell ChatGPT to write your business proposal based on certain specifications. You want a business of this valuation in this specific context, doing X, Y, and Z things, making money X, Y, and Z ways, things like that. And then it will give you a write-up that can then allow you to start. So in my opinion, it's very powerful for idea generation, at least to begin with. But the more you play around with it, the more you learn the right questions to ask it, you can really unlock some really powerful stuff. For example, you can actually get ChatGPT to write for you certain things like generic blog articles, especially if you have like a company. Now, company websites are a very good target market for this, in my opinion, because they tend to write blog articles that go out to their clientele every now and then on newsletters and things like that. And so if you want to say like 5 different ways to use our product, some sort of blog article like that, right? You can ask ChatGPT to write that. But not only can you do that, but you can also tell ChatGPT what your tone is. You can tell it exactly how you write, and you can train it to write in that way consistently. And all you have to do is keep adding prompts, telling it, write like this, write shorter sentences, write them like X, Y, Z. And then when it gives you an output, you correct that output, and eventually you have this bot that you weaponize for your own benefit. And it could be magic, but check it out. Start playing with it slowly and then, progress accordingly. But ChatGPT, fantastic AI tool you should be using right now, okay? The next one is called Quillbot, and Quillbot is a lot like Grammarly, but the only difference, well, for me, it does the same things as Grammarly does, but it depends on why you use Grammarly. If you use Grammarly to check your grammar, then Quillbot does exactly the same thing. However, I also use Quillbot to paraphrase a bunch of things for me, which I use when I'm writing one of the newsletters that I write for, called TLDR Weekly, which if you live in Uganda and you aren't subscribed to it, you probably should. I will leave a link in the description to that newsletter. So it helps me to rephrase certain pieces of text that I want to post to the newsletter. And let me give you an example, okay? So let me go to the Quillbot site. In this case, I'm going to go to the site, but for the most part, I use the extension, Quillbot, which works just like the Grammarly extension. Okay, so I'm going to paste some text in here. Let me find text to paste. Get that. I pasted this text. A fire started at a detention facility for migrants in Mexico, so on and so forth. So I click paraphrase, and what Quillbot does in an instant is sort of rephrase this statement for me. And it shows me, it sort of highlights the specific areas where it creates certain changes and so on and so forth. Really powerful, really useful. So sometimes I like to just sort of let out word vomit for an article before I make it crisp. And so sometimes I'm tired and it's like midnight and I need to post this thing as soon as possible. I need help sort of rephrasing what I have, and that's when this is really useful. But otherwise, grammar checker, paraphrasing tool works just as well, if not better than Grammarly, in my opinion. Okay. However, there are some very distinct differences between the two, so you should probably check those out. So it can also it can also summarize a bunch of text for you. But as you can see, for example, Grammarly is able to give you the tone of the different texts that you select, or even the different articles that you type. Grammarly can tell you whether it's a friendly tone or a direct tone or aggressive, things like that. That is not available in Quillbot. That is a premium feature in Quillbot, but I don't really use that. I didn't really care. So for me, I switched anyway because I was like, I don't use that anyway. Look at the two, but check out Quillbot just to see if it's something that works for you, especially if the paraphrasing feature is really useful to you, because that does not exist in Grammarly. And I just think it integrates a lot better and cleaner with the different sites that I grant access to it. So check out Quillbot. Okay, the next site that I want to tell you about is called Photo Restore. And what Photo Restore does is use AI to sort of bring life into old pictures that you may have. Okay, and so if you have an old picture that's blurry, then you drag and drop that picture into Photo Restore, and it makes that picture sort of, less blurry. Okay, so I just want to take you to the site really quickly. So this is what the site looks like. So you can drop in an image that looks a little blurry and then come up with something that looks like this. This is really useful. And I use it a lot in my work for things like logos. When I get a logo online that I'm maybe trying to put in Canva or in my blog or things like that, and sometimes the sites I get them from are a bit blurry, so then I just sort of drop it in here and then it cleans it up and makes it nice and shiny so that I can now use it for my production/publication. So really useful site to know about, Photo Restore. There are many sites that do this, maybe even many AI sites. Another AI site that does this is called Runway ML. I'll leave a link to that one as well. It's an alternative to this. You should also check it out. And they usually come with a bunch of other capabilities, removing backgrounds from photos. You can also change different backgrounds for photos. For example, if you have a picture of a wine bottle, you can put the wine bottle in different backgrounds so it appears like you're on the beach or at a cabin somewhere or in a forest or on a camping trip, things like that. So it's really cool. Definitely something to check out. But yeah, Runway ML or Photo Restore, really useful for that type of thing. The next AI site that I want to talk to you about is called LogoAI. And this is a site that can design you a logo for your brand and plus brand materials. So it could even give you mock-ups of the brand on cups and t-shirts and things like that in under 10 minutes. Okay. Fun fact, the logo for my Friday weekly newsletter called the Friday Fix, which you should totally subscribe to if you have it. The Friday Fix will make you live a more productive and personal and professional life. You should absolutely check it out, and I will leave a link to that in the description below. But yes, the logo for the Friday Fix, which you can see right here on the screen, was actually created using LogoAI in under 10 minutes, and it cost me $50 or less. Okay, which is cheaper than the average graphic designer. However, no shade to graphic designers, they obviously do a much better job than AI. But it just depends on the kind of product that you're creating. For my newsletter, I didn't need an over-involved design process for it. I just wanted something quick and easy that I could put at the top of my newsletter and just run with it. So in that case, I chose not to use my graphic designer. Just because also I didn't have the cash to pay him, because again, a little more expensive than $50. And also I needed it urgently. And so I just paid the $50 and I was able to create this logo in 10 minutes, and then it even gave me the branding materials. And let me show you what that looks like really quickly. So I am going to go to the site, and I'm going to show you some of the mock-ups that were created from my specific website. Okay, so this is the logo for my newsletter. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is go over to my logos. And so there's two specific ones that I created, which is TLDR Weekly for the weekly newsletter that comes out every Monday morning. That gives you the top news from Uganda and the rest of the world. And it's cheeky and it's witty and it's precise and it's fantastic. And if you haven't subscribed, you totally should. Link in description. But yes, so hypothetically speaking, if I wanted to download this logo for some reason, okay? So it allows me to, first of all, I can download it in multiple sizes. Okay, as you can see, there are multiple sizes, multiple resolutions, as a PDF, and so on and so on. And this is there. I have access to this forever, right? Like I will always access it. Whenever I want something from it, I just come back in here and download whatever I need to download. I can also download custom sizes if I want to get something specific from it. Another thing that is really cool, that is very valuable, is the ability to look at mockups. Okay, so here I click this, and then it's able to show me what this looks like in different colors. It shows me what it would look like on different swag or merchandise if I decided to go down that road, which you damn sure know I will soon. So it shows it to you in a cup, shows it to you in a t-shirt, shows it to you in a tote bag, shows it to you on a sort of like catalog folder, shows it to you on a sign, shows it to you randomly in space, shows it to you on a billboard, shows it to you on a nice little shiny plaque in a building. I mean, come on, man. $50 or even less, depending on what you want. So if this is something that you're interested in, if you're overwhelmed, logos can be one of those things that create friction between you actually starting your business. You're like, oh, I don't have a logo. Then you have to look for a person that can actually help you with that specific thing. So this solves that problem. So check out LogoAI. Again, there are a bunch of websites in this space, but this is the one I've used and I can vouch for it. It works really well, smooth, seamless, and it's fantastic. I did not regret it at all. Okay, another AI site that I want to talk about is called Otter. Now, Otter is a site that mainly does speech-to-text technology, which essentially just sort of, you can record your text in meetings and things like that, and it will create a transcript from that text. Now, I use the free version, and really mostly what I use it for is journaling, because I realized that my journaling process was beginning to get so long because I would have to sit down and type my thoughts out. When I found Otter, I was able to just speak to my phone, and then it changes my speech into text. Then I can edit that, and that would be my journal entry. For me, that was a game changer. And the free version of Otter AI actually gives you 300 minutes worth of recording per month. However, if you have the money to pay for the premium version, then it unlocks recording speech to text to the next level, because what you can add the extension to Google Meet and to Zoom meetings and to Teams meetings, and what it's able to do is it almost completely eliminates the need for you to transcribe a meeting, take meeting notes, and then share those meeting notes with the people that attended the meeting. Otter could do that automatically. It could transcribe the meeting, it could create takeaway points, and then after it has created those takeaway points, it will email those takeaway points to the people that attended the meeting automatically. It is insane. It is incredible. Another thing that's useful for is podcasts, right? If you have a podcast or you're thinking about creating one, it can create transcript from your podcast again in real time. All you have to do is download the file, the file of the podcast, the sound file, and just drop it into Otter, and it will create transcript text for you. Now, of course, you have a Ugandan accent, and maybe you have an accent from some random place, and you know a lot of these things are trained on white people's voices. But in my experience, it works pretty well. And so, in the very least, what you end up doing is reading through a transcript that already exists and just editing out certain words that don't match up. But for the most part, again, it does maybe an 80% job on my accent. So definitely worth it. If you can afford the money, I forget how much it costs. I didn't even look because I'm not about paying for apps just anyhow. But really cool tool for recording and transforming speech to text. Fantastic. You should check it out. That's Otter.ai. The next site that I want to talk about is called Barely. Barely is a site that I use. Personally, I use it to summarize a bunch of text. to summarize large articles, large PDFs. If I look at someone sends me an article and I don't feel like reading it, but I have to sort of tell them, we have to sort of discuss what happened in the article, right? This would have been great in high school, man. So great in high school and in college. But yeah, so what you're able to do is let me just show you, okay? So you go to a website, right? You go to a website. Here's an article from The Economist, okay? So what I do is this little extension down here is Barely AI. And so all I have to do is click that and click Executive Summary. And what it does is, while it thinks it sort of processes through the text, and it creates for me a summary that shows me the key takeaways from the article, shows me some counter arguments in case I want to be more convincing with my lie that I actually read the article, right? But so this is fantastic, man. And now, if you download the desktop version, which I didn't because I'm wary of downloading things on my desktop, but you can actually drop large files into Barely AI, and it will give you summaries for them. However, the free version has a limited word count for that. However, if you're able to pay for the premium version, you can drop a 6,000 page PDF document into Barely AI, and it will give you an executive summary of that article, which is mind-blowing. Another thing that it's able to do is you can also ask it questions. You can ask it questions about what is in the article. Okay, so again, it's a really good way for you to skim an article without actually reading it. That can be harmful, but for the most part, we don't care about that. This is great. So check out Barely AI. Okay, now the last site I want to talk about, which is really an honorable mention, is because I don't use it as much. I use it for a very specific thing, and that site is called Hola. Hola, like holla at your boy, but with ER instead of A. Hola, Holla. Holler is the name of the site. And what it does is it's a site for creating surveys. Now, the reason why it can't replace any of the survey tools you use is because it can create only about 1 or 2 questions, maybe one multiple choice question, and then the other is free response, something like that, something basic. But the power of Hola is in the fact that it can crunch the free response text into real-time sentiment analysis. It can tell you, for example, if you ask, that last question they usually ask you in a survey, how did you feel about the event? Any additional comments? Things like that, any additional feedback that you have, right? Hola is able to sort of process that text and give you real-time feedback of what the general outlook from your feedback was. Because usually you have to go through all the individual surveys to figure out what the additional feedback was. With this one, it can actually give you bullet points of these people say this. You can even ask it, what changes should I make based on this feedback? And it will tell you, change this, change that, change that. It's really cool. Now, again, it can't replace your regular survey tool. So how do I use it? Hola has a function for you to actually, and if I can go to the site, Hola has a function that allows you to import text from other survey platforms into it so that you can get that same sort of feedback on what the general feedback is actually saying, the sentiment analysis, so to speak. Okay? So all you have to do is import the answers from your survey into there, and it will compress them and create the feedback for you. Fantastic, very minimalist site, does one thing really well. You should absolutely check it out if it's something that you need, if you work with surveys a lot. And it's amazing. I use it for creating surveys from my consulting sessions and from my newsletters, just to sort of figure out what people are saying. And it has just saved me so much time. So I completely recommend it. But yes, that's it. Those are 6 or 7 extensions that will AI extensions or AI sites that will absolutely change your life right now, that are not too complicated, and you should absolutely be using them. Okay, so if you would like to watch more stuff from me, check out these sites right here. I made a video on extensions. I made a video on useful websites, which will be really cool for you to transition out of this one into those. Otherwise, see you in the next one. Peace.